I got for selling me clothes, tuppence for selling me blanket. If ever I list for the soldier again, devil shall be me sergeant.
Right, good morning ladies and gents, the old Mac Tightwood here again. Doing a bit of sewing up, can't get out today, Billy no mates, so project that's been on my mind for a long while, long waiting list, got to do a bit of sewing up for myself. A little while ago at the Wilderness Gathering, David Fairs kindly made me a gift of his takedown bow saw, which is absolutely fantastic bit of work. Proper backhoe blade in there, oak, handmade, there's no grey areas. That's a wonderful bit of kit and a lovely gift. So obviously there's only one thing you can do with that, is make it like a top end pouch for carrying about. And again, obviously David, if you like this pouch mate and you've got another saw, well you know anyway mate, say the word, job done. So ladies and gents, obviously this is a saw pouch, so I just thought I'd do a how-to video on it. If you're not into how-to videos, I'm sure at this point you're going to click on to the next video that you want to watch. If not, thank you for watching. I'm going to keep it as simple as possible, as functional as possible, and obviously anything I make don't cost a great deal of money, but it is built to how I want it. Again, there's nothing space age in the design of this. It's probably taken from a perfectly functional contemporary design anyway, ladies and gents. So there's a little bit of plagiarism here. One or two things I'm putting in there, just going to be unique to me. Anyway, ladies and gents, obviously it's going to be in bushcraft brown, 100D Cordura nylon. It's the stuff to make the Bergens out of. And the length of it, obviously, I'm not going to go into lengths because your saw could be longer than mine, but this is literally 1.5 metres long, which is as wide as the material comes, and it fits it very, very nicely. I'm going to take the saw out of the way because I'll show you that in a minute, but at the end of it, because what we're concentrating on today is how to make the saw pouch. Very popular item, very well worth doing a how-to. Eddie Mac did it. So ladies and gents, this is the inside of the material, and as we know, you sew everything on the inside and the outside before you sew things together, which will be inside out, and then you pull it through. There's always a common theme in the things I make. So ladies and gents, first thing I did there, I'm going to bring it closer just to show you the two pieces on the inside and why I put them there. Right ladies and gents, I've made it a little bit wider than I feel it needed to, because there may be other stuff I want to put in there, such as a walking pole along with stuff on that as well. So I've not made it narrow just to fit this one item, you know, 2 for 1. I can put other things in there should I need to, but I'll find the pointer. There we are. So make sure we're in shot then. This is the inside, obviously you've got the outside of the material, and this one's the waterproof one there. So I'm making this for me, so when you see that there's the wing nuts and that there, what I aim to do, and daft if you don't, carry a couple of spare wing nuts in there. So inside the pouch, there's a little, I'll put a little pocket on there, velcro sealed, sewed it around and down. It's as simple as that, and as you can see I've turned that over because that's going to be the outside lip, so that's what it looks like on the inside, ladies and gents. Okay, again that's for any extra spare hardware, because you lose one of them nuts you're buggered, and it costs like a shilling each. And as we go down you'll see a bit of sewing that's going to come down the other side. Now that line there, you see I marked it with a chalk, is the bottom of the pouch. Okay, so I've taken another piece of the Cordura nylon, so it's now 2000 denier, because as we'll see, I'll just use that one, it goes down and is inside, it's kind of sharp edges and so forth, and again there's nothing flash about that, just reinforce the bottom edge. Again, I've not taken it right to the edge because it doesn't need it, and that's going to make it like 6 lots of material going through the machine if you did it. But so you can see there, it's at the bottom. Make sure I'm in shot. It's double lined. Easy way to do that. Should do that with all your pouches. No reason not to. Okay, ladies and gents. And as that's the inside for the moment. Okay, so that's the double lining at the bottom. It's just a square piece sewn on, and an extra hardware pouch in there for the wing nuts and so forth on the inside. Turning over that flat because that's going to be my front edge where it actually goes in. So I'm going to turn it over now, ladies and gents, because obviously I've done a bit of marking out, did a little bit of sewing. I was doing it last night and I thought, do you know what, I'll capture this on cam because it's going to be a popular item that a lot of people will probably want to make, and if you get somebody to make you one and that, it can cost quite a fortune. Right, ladies and gents, so if you imagine now, we are looking at the top of the pouch where the actual saw will go in, okay, and no reason why not to, and I should have probably got a little axe here, but if you imagine that is the space for an axe head. Here I've sewn on a sleeve, so the axe can be put in. That's the handle of the axe. Doesn't matter how long the handle is, more than enough there. Let's just tell you how long I've made that, just out of interest. That's 9 inches. 9 inches that. You know, 10 inches or 11 inches if you want. But what I haven't done is sewn it up at the bottom, so it can be the axe handle can be as long as it needs to be, if that makes sense. Mine was short, mine mostly come to about there. Right, ladies and gents, so that's where your axe is going to be. A little bit of leeway, it's not going to hurt in any way. So that's what I've done on the outside, and again the axe head's going to sit there, the actual handle is going to go in there, and that's just simple. Turn it all over, tidy it all up and sew it on. As we come down, again, this is just some work I've done so far, just to save myself a bit of time. Like I say, I was trying to do this last night and I thought, you know, I'll capture it on cam. And here we see on the outside a little bit of chalk, tailor's chalk, ladies and gents. That's what you always get. Costs a couple of shillings and you just mark it off. So that now is going to be the bottom of the pouch, and here hopefully you can see with the stitching I've sewn on a square there, so when it's the bottom I've doubled it up, ladies and gents. Easy enough to do. Now as we keep going down, we're looking at the back of the pouch now, and what I've decided to do, I don't mind using green because it is the back of the pouch. I want to be able to attach this to a rucksack using horizontal strips, so I'm going to sew it there and I can push the straps like through that. Most of your Bergens have got them, I know mine have, so I can push that, so I can attach that to the outside of a Bergen. Okay, I'm also going to be able to put another strap on, which I'll show you later on, so I can attach it to the vertical, you know, the ones you actually do up, you pull the hood over and you clip them, so it can be attached vertically to them. So in all honesty, like I said, I've made this pouch a bit wider than I'm going to need it, certainly just to carry that saw, because that means I can put other things in it, should I need to. Silly daft, not to make it a little bit bigger, a little bit more functionality into it. So ladies and gents, what I will now do, and the next time you see it, and all I've done there, as you imagine, that's the bottom of the pouch there, which is just off cam, and the top's here. I'll put that on there again and just drawn that out, so them two will be sewn on just like that. Okay, so that's just a little bit of help with me marking out. Very easy to find the centre of a piece of material that you're going to do. I'll just show you how to do that quickly now, because you can get all your rulers out and start dividing and stuff like that. When you want to find the centre of a piece of material, fold it in half like that, hold it there, put your little mark, which I'll need this later on when I'm putting the buckle on, and there you can see, ladies and gents, see where the mark is? Make sure that's in shot. That's exactly the centre of the material. Easy peasy, isn't it? So that's what I've done there, marked that out. So I'm now going to go in and sew that there. Let's just give me a spacing guide. Then what I'll do is sew 50mm and just sew down, so there's different loops all the way down. I could just put one loop here and one loop at the bottom, but for 2 pennants of material it's going to give me a lot of variation on a lot of different sort of sizes of Bergens, and the horizontal straps that go across, if that makes sense, ladies and gents. Also, just to make it a little bit more functional, and this is what I'm talking about, because if you're making something, you make it how you want. It'll be attached to the Bergen for the majority of the time, but there's no reason why I can't put a D-clip there. Okay, sew that in, and again this part here is going to be the lid that goes over, and I'll put one there, a D-ring there. So if need be, I can, you know, like the clip, put a shoulder strap on that, or even if I'm just going from A to B but I've got to walk, I've got to be carrying wood back, ladies and gents. Ooh, it's a saw and an axe carrier. I could even just a simple bit of paracord just to fling it over my shoulder, if that makes sense, like as in rifle carry. Daft not to do little accoutrements like that, cut the D-rings, just sit there until I need them. Bearing in mind, if I'm going from like camp out, you know, harvesting some wood, I've got to carry it back, so I'm going to need two hands, because this thing can now, with a simple bit of paracord, you can have a posh handle or shoulder strap for it, but that will give me two hands. So next time I come back, ladies and gents, that's what you'll see on that. But so far, I've got to say, this is very simple. You do not need anything flash nor fancy. Like I say, 1,000 Kadir nylon, Godora nylon, some webbing. That's well, it says 40mm, but it's 38mm. Couple of D-rings, ain't going to cost you a great deal of money. And I'm also when I lock it down, which will lock the axe in, the flat will come over and lock the top of the axe in. You'll see there's a 25mm buckle there. Not a lot of cost, ladies and gentlemen, hence the name Tightwad. And the good thing about this is, when you make something yourself, it's nice to save yourself a few bob, but it's also nice to make something exactly how you want it. So I'll bring you back later. Right, ladies and gents, here we are back again. I haven't taken this showing stuff being pushed through a sewing machine, one because it's incredibly boring, and two because it's just a waste of time. Just to say there, I've sewn the back attachment points on to my carrier here. I've not done anything flash or fancy I need to show you on the machine. It's literally a straight, and where it's going to take some zigzagged stitches there, just to give it a bit of a little bit of reinforcement on the stress point. So here we see two sides of webbing. I'm going to pull that, just make sure you can see that. That's the lid, that's the flat, so that's the top of the thing when it's closed. On there's a 2 D-rings, again, so I can attach a piece of paracord, something as simple as that, or a shoulder strap to it. Obviously this is the bottom here. So now, ladies and gentlemen, so you got, if you imagine that's the side of a Bergen, yeah, some of them have got horizontal straps, my one has, so I can push, and I put just two literally you can just, that's how I can attach it to, pushing the horizontal strap on the Bergen. Most of them have them on the side pouches. And I've just given myself some room to play with, rather than just putting two, one at the top, one at the bottom. Don't muck about, because you never know what distance apart the straps are going to be on various Bergens. Okay, build into it some future proofing. Like I say, we are looking at the back of the thing now. Now, do you know, like normally you pull your lid down and then you click? So if I wanted to mount this horizontally on the back of the Bergen, I have the ability to do so. So there's the top of the Bergen, and literally, do you know, the click lock buckle, I'll attach this to a Bergen and show you later on. I now can attach it by coming from the top all the way through that one, which is a little bit tight, I wanted it so, and then pull the hood down and attach it there. So just for want of 3 bits of 25mm webbing there, which is easy enough to do, I can mount it on various different ways, either horizontally or vertically. And that will make a little bit more sense once I stick it on a Bergen and show you. Right, ladies and gents, the golden rule. So everything on the outside and on the inside before you sew it, you turn it inside out, sew it up. Okay, and again, even myself there, glad I just thought there. This is the retaining strap. Okay, I've done it in brown because it is going to be on the front. I've got a bit of brown strapping left. Make sure you sew that on, because it's impossible to get it on once you've sewn the thing together. And I'll just show you a little tip here. Keep this thing out of the way. Just have that there. Get a when you do that, all you need is a paper clip, and just push your paper clip down there, somewhat like that. I'm going to use a pin, just to pin that, so when you're sewing it all up, it's out of the way, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so now I've checked, rechecked, thought about it. Like I say, I never made that mistake. So it's always go back to before you start sewing it up, ladies and gents. And obviously, when the paper clip's on there, you'll see. Just make sure we're in shot there. Yeah, obviously you're going to sew up down the sides, and it's inside out. Okay, so make sure it's inside out before you do it. I will say it again, because you'll do it and you'll swear. Because even I do it occasionally. Like I say, being honest there, nearly forgot to put my training strap on. That I've got everything I need on the inside of it. So my little accessory pouch there. And now, ladies and gents, obviously I'll mark it up to my line. Again, making sure that my item goes inside there very, very nicely. Okay, bearing in mind the width, so you make it a little bit longer on that side. Okay, see where there's a little bit, because you've got to take account of the actual width of the item. Okay, ladies and gents, so next thing I'm going to do is done the final check on it. Everything seems to be in order, no real dramas. I'm going to sew it up. Now, normally, and what I might do, and you might want to think about, is obviously carrying a spare backhoe blade, which I'll get one. I will do. I'm not just going to sew a pouch on the inside that will take the blade, because them blades are like proper wicked. Come up with just a little Mac Tightwood idea to make a sleeve that will just drop in. I'll show you that later on. Dead easy to do. As always, if Mac Tightwood can do it, it's not very hard to do. It doesn't cost a lot of money, and it actually means this is a good little first project for somebody to do on a sewing machine, because there's nothing too hard about it, as long as you think about the way, you know, your construction, how you have to do things before you do. So bring you back in a moment, ladies and gents. Right, ladies and gents, another fade again. Make sure it's inside out. I've literally sewn it down there. This is going to be a stress point, so I've gone, you know, hit the back button on the machine, nothing too complicated, and gone over that a few times. Obviously making sure my retaining strap is tucked away inside, because it's easy to sew it through there. You will do it at some point and make that mistake, hence that's why it's nice, even just a paper clip just to hold it on there. Right, ladies and gents, there's only other one little thing there that I'll do, a little bit of experience I'll pass on. I'll bring you in closer. As we can see here, that's just the stitching. Obviously this is the inside of it we're looking at, but when you fold it inside out, to make a great big clump of material there that's going to be hard to sew through, bearing in mind I'm going to sew it down that side at the outside, I always at roughly 45-degree angles, and I'll show you this one here. Just there's my stitch line, come to about 2mm, just chip that little end off, and chip that little end off. It saves having a big chunk of material, makes it easier at the bottom. When, as we are now, I won't do this bit on cam because it normally involves a bit of swearing. Reach my hand down inside and pull it all inside out. Bring you back in a second. Here we see it turned inside out, and again, now I'll chip them little bits off just nicely, and there's no big chunk of material in there, ladies and gents. So it's just because obviously I'm going to sew down here, so I'm already sewing through 4 layers of material. Don't want to do through 6. So that just gives that a nice little finish. You get roughly even the 2 of them up. And again, just as we stop there, I know I want it from there because I want to take into account for a longer handle on an axe that's going to go into the axe sheath that's on the outside. How long do you know you need this strap? Well, just bear with me a sec and I'll show you. Because with me, nothing posh, nothing fancy, everything's sort of ready retting, but if you're going to do that, pass that on. So here we can see where the saw will go inside. There's the flap, so the flap will come over, and literally I've measured it out, so the buckle's going to be there, and that much will go through and pull down. So it's quite easy to work out just by ready retting how long you'll need, obviously, the retaining strap. So that's where my buckle's going to be, and I've just left it sort of 6 inches over. Obviously, if that flap came down a lot further, I'll just reduce, you know, the size of that to take that into account. But ladies and gents, so what I'm going to do now is sew it down the sides, and when I sew it down the sides, I'll bring it back out to show you this. Right, as we see here, that's in there. I'm going to be sewing all the way up and down there, okay, all the way round. And when I finish, when I bring it up here, I will bring that up in about that much, which is just say a finger's match, okay, just gives it a nice finish on each side. So it's going to be like that, and I'll do that. I will then fold that flap over and sew it across, hence give me a nice neat finish once I've done. So there's nothing fantastic about that either, ladies and gentlemen. I'll do that side when I'm sewing down that side and this side. So I'm going to bring it in, sew it down there. That's the sew line there, and this sew obviously down the other side to make it nice and flat, and bring it over and across, just to make it, give your flap a nice edge to it. And there's no dangers and there's no dramas on that one. So take care. Right, ladies and gents, here we go. As I've done, I've sewn it down the sides. I've sewn it twice just to make it nice and neat, okay, and it keeps it all nice and flat. As you can see, a little bit of planning on the hoof. That's what officers in the British Army do. They, well, as our Sergeant Major said, the planning on the hoof is officer for making it up as I'm going along. It occurred to me like that was single skin there. So as I folded it over, I've left that bit there open, and as we can see inside, make sure I can see, it's not gone down too far, so I was able to do it. When you've got an axe in, as you see here, and this is the sort of the biggest one I've got at the moment, or I can put my hands on, when that comes over, there's going to be a lot of chafing against metal, if that makes sense. So any contact between the axe will be, this is 25mm seatbelt webbing, stuck it in there, and that will just give that a much better wear capability. So all I've done is sewed it down there. I could get to it on the machine all the way down there, tuck that bit underneath there just to keep it neat, and then sewn down there. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit of planning on the hoof, because when you're making something, guess what, you can make it to how you want it, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'll put a little tick in there just to make sure that folds down, and that's going to take all the wear and tear from the axe head. Bearing in mind I built this for any scale or size of axe, and as we see, I'm going to put a buckle on there again, just make sure I've got it all in shot. That's just about right really, what you'd want for adjustment. So if you've got something taller in it, you can actually go right up to the top there, if that makes sense. Right, ladies and gents, so that's that. The only thing I need to do now, and as you can see, I'll tell you what, I'll show you it that way, that'll come out a bit better. That has just been pulled in as I've sewn it in, sews up and makes that nice edge, and just brings it, just makes it look sort of nicely finished, if that makes sense. And again, I think that's a good idea. Just a little bit of something that will take the wear from an axe head, you know, a metal axe head. So all I need to do now is put the buckle on here to secure it. Hey presto, I've got myself an axe and obviously fold down saw sleeve, and I'm also going to be using this for something else, which is why I've made it, as you can see, probably a little bit wider than would be needed. I'll show you, I'm going to a little bit wider than I needed. So I shall be a few moments. I'm going to go and sew that buckle onto there, ladies and gents, and I'll be back. As Arnie says, I'll be back. Right, ladies and gentlemen, finished. A finish show. Obviously I've sewed the buckle on there, the Fastex buckle. We all know what one it is. I've sewed it on the inside just to make it a little neater on the outside, and as we come over, what we'll actually see there is something I sewed on there, made in England by Tightwad. So that's the top flap, ladies and gents, sewed underneath. Again, running point of the design was to put that in there, so if that's got any metal coming over, it's going to be chafing against the 50mm webbing, and not we could do on Ireland, which is tough stuff, but don't hurt just to put a few extra little bits in there, does it? Again, the beauty of making yourself what you want, designing it to how you want it, and you know, saving a few bob. That resonates with everybody, doesn't it? Yeah, I quite like the older England flag on there. Right, ladies and gents, I'll just show you how it is and how it goes. So bring you back. Just before we go on, ladies and gents, obviously it's meant to have this string all the way around it, but I always found that was a little bit flappy. I don't like things flapping about making a noise being an old soldier, so all I did was got a bit of brown elastic there and sewed some elastic. Again, the blades in there, David's ever so clever, completely protected inside of there, and that ain't going nowhere until I want it. It just keeps it all tight and tidy. And again, there's one at the bottom, takes a few minutes to do. So, ladies and gents, hey presto, let's see if it goes in. Oh yeah, it's very nice there. Tiny little toe. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's a little bit longer, wider than it would actually need. I'll show you why in a second, but I just want to show you something else. Beauty of this thing, remember, there's that sleeve there. Again, I only use little hatchets myself. But slip that down inside of there. Tidy up your little strings. That's another little David Fair thing he did for me. We often do little dibbles on things. Made me Kydex sheath, so that will just come over there, completely securing your axe at the same time. Ladies and gents, obviously an already existing proven design, not claiming any credit for it, but as you can see there, and on the back, if at any time you wanted to click one to the bottom or the top, see, or even a bit of paracord, and this now, if you've got any strapping on your Bergens, you can just push it through anywhere you want. And as I say, do you know the vertical strap? I'll take it out one time and show you. Can go through there, one at the bottom, one at the top there, just so I've given myself the maximum variation in being able to attach that to the outside of a pack. Bearing in mind, a bit long to go inside a pack, ladies and gents. And one thing I do like, I must admit, exactly where it should be. So yeah, loving that. There's me pack finished. I wouldn't say it took me too long, but again, it's just having the time to do it and having time off work in the daylight to show you how to. Right, ladies and gents, another reason why I wanted it too wide, I often use one of these with my tarpies. It's a walking stick, so let's just pop that over that side. Slip that in, stick that in there. Again, we all use them for a tent pole, walking pole, stop you falling over pole. Get that a little loosen. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, not only is it going to carry that saw very nicely for me, it's also going to carry anything long pole wise in there for me. So always a good idea to make things a little bit wider than you need. And also I will show you there is another use to this, ladies and gentlemen. It's connected with the pole and it's using this end of the pouch at the top of the pole, you know, and it's going to stop your tarps and so forth from being chafed by the top of the pole. I'll show you that in a minute anyway. But ladies and gents, you think I've forgotten something, don't you? How to carry a spare blade. One moment, I'll bring you back. Ladies and gents, carrying a spare blade, I thought about putting a sheath inside of it just to take the blade, but I thought, you know, don't get no flash nor fancy than you need it. There is a piece of seatbelt material, literally sewn double down the sides. I've turned one part of it over, and as you can see there's a slip which I know will take I measured it out, a Backer Laplander 21 inch or 22 inch or whatever it was, and it literally just drops straight inside the pouch. No need to sew it in, not going to gain anything by it, but when you pull it out as an individual you can then do that and it's going to be easier to get your actual saw out. So no reason why it shouldn't be black. It's going to be on the inside, as we'll see, ladies and gents. I'll just pull you back a little bit. That is going to be, once it's dropped inside that pouch, the spare blade carrier and protector. Takes minutes to do, and don't make it any more flash nor fancy than it needs to be. KISS, keep it simple, keep it stupid. Take care, ladies and gents, and obviously it'd be nice if somebody has a go at one of these to do it. Like I say, it's not hard. You end up with a nice bit of kit, and it's something that you can't buy, and I've made this to exactly how I want it. Like I say, I've not come up with anything innovative in the design, don't need to. That will take a very big axe should I need it. You know, the actual handle of the axe can come all the way down here, that's why I haven't sewed it at the bottom. And for me, ladies and gents, I'd just like to say, well, obviously my how-to videos seem reasonably popular. If it infuses you to go and make a bit of kit, it's better than you can probably buy, because you've designed it to how you want it, out the materials and the colours you want it, and it saved you a few bob, ladies and gents. So as always, appreciate you watching my films. and take care.